Hello and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're well and ready for some hot product recommendations. These are products I've been using on my road, gravel and mountain bikes for the last few weeks and months. So these are my unbiased and real world reviews on these products. This video isn't sponsored, none of the brands involved in this video had any say or input in this video, all my own views and opinions. I'll put timeline links down below if you want to skip ahead to the product you're most interested in. I'll put links to the actual products at retailers down below as well if you want to take a closer look. These are products I can highly recommend and would happily spend my own hard-earned money on as well. There's no point in me recommending stuff I don't think is worth your money, so these products all definitely carry my seal of approval. So coming up, I've got a fantastic way to keep your bike safe and secure in your garden, because let's face it, not everybody can keep their bike in the house. Got a great seat post for improving comfort on road or gravel bikes, a neat on-bike storage solution for inner tubes and other spares, and lastly, one of the best new tuber tyres on the road market right now. So let's dive in. First up, where do you keep your bikes safe and secure? In the house, if you're lucky, bedroom, bathroom, conservatory, but more likely outside, either in a garage or a wooden shed. Now, wooden sheds are far from the safest place to keep your bike if you want to keep determined thieves at bay, which is why for the last 7 years or so, I've been using a metal shed from Asgard. So Asgard is a UK company and they make these fantastic metal sheds designed for bicycles and motorbikes and other stuff you want to keep safe and secure. I first used one living in London. I had a flat and a small bit of outside space, so I had a 3 bike shed in the garden there. And now, moving to a bigger house here in the Cotswolds, I have space for an even bigger shed in the garden. So I got myself a Gladiator, which is a massive 7 by 7 foot shed, humongous, weighs an absolute ton almost, but perfectly fills the space I had available between a rickety old wooden shed, fine for a lawnmower and gardening tools, and just a perfect space to put all my bikes. So yes, it's a serious investment, a big chunk of cash, and you can buy many wooden sheds for the price of one Asgard metal shed. But I wouldn't trust a wooden shed with my pride and joys in there, whether my bikes or test bikes, whereas the Asgard gives you that peace of mind to leave it there overnight and know that apart from a really determined bike thief, it can be safe and sound. They are rugged, they are secure, and they are reliable. And if you're spending lots of money on your bike, the price of an Asgard bike shed is pretty small in the context of that expensive bike purchase. Now, this might sound like an advert, but let me assure you, it's not. I paid for that Asgard with my own money. I believe in the product so much. I'm on my second one now, and it really is the way to go if you want to keep your bike safe if you can't keep them in the house. Next up, we have a brand new tyre from Vittoria, the all-new Corsa NEXT, released about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I've been using these since then on my Carnago C68 on these old Tegra carbon fibre wheels. And they are a fantastic addition to the Italian company range, and also a great contender in what is becoming a very competitive market for wide tuber tyres. They're also available as a clincher tube type if you prefer, but as you know, I'm all about tubers here at Just Ride Bikes, and these are a fantastic contender for your money if you're in the market for a new tyre this year. So this new tyre joins the company's range below their range-topping Corsa Speed, the handmade cotton tyre with a rubber tread glued on. These are a vulcanized nylon tyre designed to bridge the gap between that range-topping tyre and the Rubinho, which is below it. These are designed to offer all the performance, or almost all the performance, of that range-topping tyre, so speed, rolling resistance, all the features we crave in a high-end tyre, but a lot more durability in terms of wear rate and also puncture prevention and better performance in wet weather as well. Now, us roadies are a funny bunch because from our tyres we demand a lot. We want the lightest, the fastest, the most supple ride quality available, but we also, on the other hand, want it to last a long time and be durable, reliable, and resist punctures and be good in all conditions, which is a lot to ask from a lightweight tyre. But that's what this new tyre is aimed at. They have their Corsa Speed at the top, which in my experience, and your experience probably as well, has been a fantastic tyre over the years. One of the nicest ride quality going due to that cotton construction, But in my experience, tubeless installation was a nightmare, and the durability in terms of wear rate and puncture prevention wasn't that great. Not a good tyre for riding day in, day out and clocking up big miles. Best say for racing, Sunday rides and so on. This tyre fills that gap. It offers nearly all the performance of that Corsa Speed, but much more durability, much more reliability in a range of conditions, wears better and is much more resistant to punctures. And as a bonus, tubeless installation is an absolute breeze. Normal track pump pops up straight away, no faff, no magic needed, no tubeless inflator needed or compressor, any of that jazz. Just easy installation as a tuber tyre should be in this day and age. In developing this tyre, Vittoria is fairly open about having the Continental GP 5000 STR in its sights as a benchmark when testing out the parameters for the new tyre. And in their own testing, which they revealed, it comes very, very close. But in my riding, here in the real world, I say this offers a slightly nicer ride quality. It's a little bit more supple, the favorite word of bike tyre reviewers. A bit of a nicer ride quality, a bit more feedback coming through the tyre and your contact points about the road surface and how wet and dry it is. And it offers better performance in wet weather, which we've just had some recently here. So I've been out riding this in the rain. Somebody has to do it. And that's something that the Bicycle Rolling Resistance website backs up as well. Now in their testing, which is done on a steel drum, so not the most realistic in terms of real world application, the tyre does test very well. But in terms of pure outright rolling resistance, it's not quite as good as the Continental GP 5000 STR, but it's almost the same as the company's own Corsa Speed, which is very impressive indeed. So this tyre is offering pretty much the same performance as that range-topping handmade cotton Corsa Speed. So very good for the company's new tyre, which does beg the question of whether the Corsa Speed needs an update to make it even faster than this bike for the pros, which that tyre is aimed at. So outright rolling resistance on a drum might not be as good as the Continental GP 5000 STR, but in my testing it's a nicer feeling tyre, which is very subjective, I know, and performance in the dry is amazing and performance in the wet is very good too. So a really trustworthy tyre in a range of conditions in my experience. I'll put a link to the Bicycle Rolling Resistance website down below if you want to check out their results and their findings on a tyre for yourself. And if you want to see me do some testing of this tyre versus some other tuber tyres, then maybe that's something I can do in a separate video in the future. So let me know down below. What are your favourite tuber tyres you want to see reviews of? This, Goodyear, Michelin, Pirelli, Continental? Let me know by leaving a comment down below and I'll see if I can arrange out and do some proper testing indoors and outdoors as well. The new tyre is available in a range of sizes up to a whopping 34mm, ideal for endurance bikes where comfort is a priority. All sizes above 28 are compatible with hookless rims, while all sizes below 28 has to be used on a hooked rim, and there is a clincher tube type as well if you're not a fan of tubeless. The retail price for new tyres at launch is pretty high, but in line on a par with what you expect to pay for a Continental or Pirelli at retail. But I'm sure over time that retailers will be discounting these tyres, so definitely worth shopping around. I'll put some links down below to the best offers I can find on these new tyres. But definitely a tyre I can recommend. Maybe not as outright fast as that GP 5000, but a fantastic ride quality, reassuring levels of grip in the wet, and so far, really good durability and longevity, and touch wood, not a single puncture to speak of so far. So yeah, good tyre from Vittoria. Just what they need really, because the tubeless market is becoming very, very exciting right now. Now, I love small products that do the job really well without any fuss, such as this one from Occam Designs. And it has a boa dial. Like shoes, this thing has a boa dial. So what it is a way to carry an inner tube, CO2 canister, and a tubeless repair kit, or any other essentials you need on your bike, on your frame itself, so it's always there, ready to go. Designed for mountain bikes, but great and right at home on gravel bikes as well. This being on my Fairlight, did a honk last weekend, and I used this the whole time, which was quite muddy. Yes, it's perhaps a bit over-designed compared to simpler and cheaper Velcro systems, but I like the fact it's quick and easy to use. You can get at your inner tube really quickly when you're in a rush to repair a puncture, and it adapts to different frame sizes and tube diameters really well too. And you don't have all the excess Velcro that you get on a Velcro version. And it's the most interesting use of a bird dial I've yet seen. Very popular on shoes, of course, hydration packs. I think there's even a helmet with one, correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, the latest product that I've seen that use a bird dial and use it really well. So really cool bit of kit. Yeah, it's not cheap, but so far it's been rugged, it's been durable, been on my gravel bike and my mountain bike. I can easily swap it over because it's so easy. Just undo it like that and away you go. This cord here, Dyneema cord, is nice and strong. You know, it looks very spindly, but very strong. So it holds everything in place. Like I said, I used it for the Hell of the North Cotswolds the other weekend, and that was there. Didn't move, didn't budge for 100 kilometers or rattling over some of the roughest gravel tracks known to man. Well, known to this part of the Cotswolds anyway. So I'll put a link to that down below. Now, comfort is a pressing matter for many people on bikes, whether road or gravel bikes. And we all know the displeasure of an uncomfortable bottom, and it can quickly ruin your bike ride in no time at all. Now, about 2 years ago, or was it more recently, I reviewed some items from Redshift, a US company, with their suspension stem and their suspension seat post. And I was very, very impressed. A really affordable way to add more comfort to a road or gravel bike with no, apart from the weight and cost, no real setbacks at all. And I still use them to this day on my Fairlight Cycle Sacan. Well, for the last couple of months, I've been testing this, the new lightweight version Pro suspension seat post. Essentially the same design, but it's a lightweight package. And in my mind, it's a better product, but there are a few drawbacks as well, which I'll talk about over the next few minutes. So the main news with this new Pro suspension stem is that it's lighter weight, about 130 grams of less weight compared to the original. Quite a nice, slim, compact design, so it looks better on gravel and road bikes. So that's good. Less weight is good, but you can't adjust this and it's less travel than the old version, so on one hand it's not as good. The original had 35mm of suspension, this one has 20, so less. And the original, you could adjust the softness or the firmness of the suspension. A series of springs inside, you could change the springs for heavier weight springs and adjust the preload as well to tune it to where you rode. This one has a single elastomer inside. You can't modify it, you can't tune it, and it has what they call a race tune, so stiff or firm in other words. So on a surface, despite that weight improvement, it might sound like a backward step, less adjustment, less travel. But for me, it's a better product and it suits the way I ride a gravel bike much better. So with the original, I had it set up really firm, maximum preload and a heavy spring in there to stop it moving around too much. I found when it's soft, it bobbed up and down, which I didn't like, felt very unnatural. I want it nice and firm, just to remove the big impacts and the medium-sized impacts and just filter out some of the small stuff. Don't want a really cushy, bouncy ride. I don't want to be on a suspension bike, I want to be on a gravel bike with a bit more comfort. So for me, the stiffness of this elastomer suits the way I ride and what I want from this ride much better. It still definitely moves on a medium to big size impact, so big rock or pothole. It's fairly compliant on small bumps like ripples, corrugated grass tracks, but maybe not as compliant as a softer setting of the original. And there's less travel, a 20mm versus 35mm. So you don't really notice it working as much as the old one, but for me the benefits definitely outweigh what you lose compared to the original. For me, I like the firm setting, it feels more natural, it only works, moves when it needs to on a bigger impact, and it feels more normal most of the time. And what I love about a seat post, primarily on my gravel bike, but also on a road bike, is the extra comfort and the extra speed you can ride over rough sections. When you're riding over a really rough track with roots and rocks, with this suspension seat post, you can more easily sit down and keep the gas on the pedals through the rough sections, whereas on a normal bike, you might be trying to lift your bottom off the saddle, trying to go light on the pedals, try and reduce the load of those impacts and the force coming through the seat post and the saddle into your bottom. So for me, having the benefit of that suspension really outweighs the weight and any other issues you might point at this as being a downside. So extra speed, more comfort over rough sections, and at the end of a long ride on a gravel bike, you feel less fatigued, and my lower back is thankful that I'm riding on a suspension seat post compared to a rigid seat post, because Although 20mm might not sound like much travel and it's very firm, it just gives you enough comfort, enough give on those rough sections, those big impacts that can really jar your lower back, especially if you've got an old man back like me. So that's why I appreciate this design over a rigid system. I'll definitely try and fit one of these to all bikes I test. Now, it might be aimed at gravel riding and gravel bikes, but there's no reason why you can't fit it to a road bike, especially an endurance road bike if you want more comfort than your bike is offering you right now, and you've already maxed out the tyre size. So a really good, versatile product. Yeah, it's not cheap, quite a lot of money, but it's cheaper than buying a new frame that has any comfort features like a Special Roubaix or a Trek Domani with those sort of features like this built into that frame, especially if you have a harder aluminium frame perhaps, or like a lower end aluminium frame and you find it a bit harsh. This could be a good way to alleviate the strain your back is going through. So definitely a product I recommend for a wide range of uses. You might not believe in the benefits of it, but trust me, it works really well, especially if you've got a bad back like me. So I'll put a link to that down below. If you enjoyed this roundup of product reviews and you've got requests for other products for me to review, leave them down below in the comment section. And if you want to see some other product reviews, then check out the video right here.